Man, so okay, so this is the Royal Ink Hustle podcast. Man, so thanks for coming. So this is, like I told you, the Royal Ink Hustle podcast. It happens to be at a bar. The reason why I like the bar vibe here at Royal Ink is it's getting a little more relaxed. Yes. Everything's a little so corporate and so rehearsed that I want to have just a talk one-on-one, me and Justin from BattleBorn.
Yeah, man.
How do you feel about that?
Thanks for having me. No, it's awesome. I think it's a great idea. Like in all the worlds that we deal in, it's you deal with the corporate front of a lot of people, and then you get to deal sometimes in a very personal nature with them, whether that might be golf course or
Right.
trips or at the bar or at an event. And I think that, the relationships you develop, the way you get to know somebody in the corporate world in these personal settings, I think really strengthens those relationships. And like what we're going to talk about, like in entrepreneurship, it's all about relationships,
Right,
more
yeah.
than anything else. So, you got the podcast called The Hustle. I like that. It is about hustle, but a big part of the hustle is how you deal with people, at least in
Right.
this town.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I see you at the gym once in a while.
That's right.
So even that vibe, I've been working with you guys for years, and just seeing you for 5 minutes at the gym is like, hey, Justin, how are you? And a quick hello.
Yeah.
It's like, it's even more valuable than a year of emails,
Yeah. Well,
So I enjoy that.
Well, and I'll bring out a thing that we do that is corporate, but I get to see you guys do it when we do our
Of
our
course.
5K,
Yeah,
and you guys show up. That's just a whole nother level of bonding that we get to do with you guys. That makes you, part of, from our perspective, part of the BattleBorn
Part of the
family.
crew, yeah, for sure. And you kind of mentioned the 5K, which is a topic that I wanted to talk to you about. Tell me why you do the 5K for the people that don't know why you do it.
Yeah, so every year we do the Rockin' Reindeer 5K. We don't have any particular connection to the creation of that. They have Just Run puts on 3 holiday 5Ks. They do one for Halloween, they do one for Thanksgiving, they do one for Christmas. And the Christmas one's the Rockin' Reindeer Run. But we did that the first year. I think it must have been 8 years ago now.
Long time.
Maybe Crystal remembers. She's off camera, but she'll tell me if I'm wrong. I think it was 8 years ago. And we did it because our founding partner, Troy Atkinson, was diagnosed with colon cancer, and he was in the middle of chemotherapy for that at the time. And, everybody wanted to do something to show our
Just
support,
together. Right.
for him, and asked him all the time, what can we do? And he had such a great network of friends and family, and he felt very taken care of. And he just said, I just want you guys to do something that's good for your health, that shows support. And he linked us up with an organization, Stand Up to Cancer. And so we had some shirts made. And we all just decided let's go run a 5K.
Yeah.
And that was the first one we did.
Was he a part of that actively, or?
So yeah, the first 2 times that we did it, he was present. And the third time he did it, we did it, he was still alive, although he was very close to passing. And one of the last, actually, it may even be the last time. It's not, but one of the last times I ever spoke to him, we were going through all the photos of the run and how it had grown in that particular set of photos. So this would be 2016. So we've done it 9 years.
Yeah.
9 years. Yeah. So in 2016, we must have had 50 or 60 people all wearing the same shirts, all in the race. We were title sponsor, and it just meant a lot to him.
That was
in
a hard moment.
Yeah.
So I got I told you that this before too. I got a close friend that passed away from cancer as well.
Mm-hmm.
Close friend since I was 11 years old. And one of the questions that I would ask you is, how do you, losing somebody so close to you at such a young age, how do you find that balance where you work? How do you choose to work hard? It kind of hit me like a ton of bricks, where I kind of felt like, man, you got to kind of pause a little bit, and family, your personal life, eventually you're going to lose it all. Everything just ends so quickly. How do you find that balance where you continue to just work and hustle, knowing that, hey, it's happened to one of your best friends, one of your partners?
Wow.
Is that even a thing for you? Do you consider that as as some sort of burden as a business owner?
Oh, you know what? No, I actually kind of think differently. I think like my hustle in my business is doing honor to Troy all the time, like
but yeah, because he was literally ingrained and he was part of the business.
yeah, I mean,
Gotcha.
we started I remember when we came up with the BattleBorn name. I remember calling him and saying like, hey, what do you think about BattleBorn injury lawyers? And I remember him being like, that's a stupid name. And then he called back like 10 or 15 minutes later. He's like,
Let's do it.
I like that name, like I like it. And so like so much of what I remember Troy as being, and he was my best friend,
Nice,
like
yeah.
before we started the business together. So much of my memories are intertwined with those early days of BattleBorn before BattleBorn was even named. It was Atkinson and Watkins.
Which it still is, right?
Well, our legal name's Atkinson, Watkins, and Hoffman.
Got it.
At the time, it was only Atkinson and Watkins, and that was, those early days are the most formative
Hell
memories,
yeah.
right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
when we shared an office. We
Right
shared
away,
a
you
desk.
guys partnered up.
Yeah. Well, no. He started out on his own law office of Troy Atkinson, and the idea was I was going to obtain some clients, get my ducks in a row, and then I would join him. And it turned out to be like 9 months later,
Got it.
or actually,
Right away.
13 months later, after the end of the year, and I got signed up. But we weren't doing personal injury work. We were doing defense work, real estate work, all kinds of other things.
And then you opened BattleBorn for the personal injury side.
Right. So
Got
we
it.
started taking BattleBorn cases, and we started taking plaintiffs' cases as early as we could. We both knew that's what we wanted to do.
Okay.
Right. Like that was the dream. Like, let's get out of this corporate billable hour,
Yeah.
stuffy lawyers.
Is it that different? Like, what's the...
Oh,
like,
it's
man,
the best. Oh, it's the best.
Oh,
man.
man, is it?
Oh, well, so like, I mean, I may not be the best person, or I may be the best person
Right.
to talk to you about this, but like, I went to law school. My undergraduate degree was not in anything pre-law, it was in engineering. So I didn't
Gotcha. I
think I was
didn't
going to be
know
a lawyer. So when I went to law school, I still didn't think I was going to be a lawyer, but I thought I was going to go work construction and work at a big company. But anyway, decided to try law for a couple of years, and like, I hated it. I hated like billing hours, keeping track of every 10,
Every
20
little
minutes,
thing, every minute, yeah.
fighting over
That's what we
nonsense.
jump around here at Royal Ink. Like, hey, we got to start charging like lawyers. Like,
Yeah.
we got to, hey, 10 emails, that's a fee.
Oh man, it's a terrible way to live. It's a
Hey,
terrible
I
way
would
to
imagine.
like
Yeah,
see
yeah.
the world.
Oh, yeah.
See the world in like
In
billable,
billable hours.
increments.
Yeah, yeah.
It's terrible because then you start evaluating your time with
Yeah.
your family and your friend, and you're like,
Man.
oh,
He goes
this-
to that side.
I think it does.
Man,
It did
that's
for
crazy.
me.
Yeah, yeah, it has to.
So like, like I did not like it, but I did it, and I
Yeah.
did it. I think I did it well. And I worked for a local firm, and then I worked for an international law firm and
Wow.
did bigger stuff. And I thought that would change.
Not
And I
even
hated
worse.
it worse.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
hated it even worse. These galleries full of lawyers who were
Man.
all dressed to the nines
So
in
you
suits and
live
just
that life.
and just thought that they were, they are
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
But they ain't important to me.
Exactly. Yeah.
You
You,
know?
have a whole different vision
It's not what I wanted. So like, I always wanted to go on my own.
to go on your own. So, what made you guys kind of lead on to that conversation of why BattleBorn? Why go? Most attorneys here in town, I see they're very corporate. Even the branding, logos. What made you guys go with such an edgy brand? A brand that I feel fits really well with Royal Ink.
Yeah, I agree. It does feel
It's
good.
even like, yeah, it's
Royal
like,
Ink.
man, it's like crazy, like the whole branding, the billboards, everything.
There was a couple different things that went into that. Number one, we wanted to do faceless advertising. We didn't want to, which has changed in the
Yeah.
last 6
That's
months,
what
but we'll
we
get to that.
wanted,
But for 12 years, we did faceless advertising. And the idea was that all the billboards, all the advertising that you see for lawyers looks the same. So and so and so and so,
And
and
so, yeah,
two dudes standing
Identical.
there looking at each other in a suit, right? Like,
serious.
that's what you saw, and we wanted to do something different. At the time, the only sort of faceless advertising you could see were for the ticket companies. Like,
Okay, yeah.
so we thought, and maybe this could work for personal injury. We'll try it, but nobody's really doing it. And so that was one factor. The second factor was we did some market research on our own, just try to figure out, why do people advertise the way they advertise for what they do? And the information told us that for personal injury attorneys at that time, so this is 2011, 2012.
Wow, it's been that long.
It's been that long.
Gotcha.
Well, we started in 2010,
Okay.
but when we BattleBorn, the name, started marketing in 2012. So this is 2011. We're doing the market research, and it said for personal injury attorneys, the selection of that by a family is seen as a medical decision and is driven by the woman of the household. This is what
Got you.
our
Okay.
research said.
Yeah, you went scientific.
And so we thought to ourselves, that's what everybody's trying to get. Everybody is marketing towards the
Right.
woman
Yep.
who stays at home and is a homemaker and watching TV throughout the day.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's why all these advertisers, like if you watch midday,
Man.
12 to 3, bam, they're hammering it, right?
Which is crazy. It's part of the man. What's the attorney Cutner? No,
But I don't want to talk about specific attorneys, but
oh,
yes,
gotcha. No,
right?
but there's an attorney that I saw that they were advertising in the cartoon in the
Yeah,
what do you call it?
yeah,
Kid channels.
yes,
Yeah. And it's the whole mentality that you're kind of infiltrating them at a young age,
yeah,
so it gets ingrained in your head.
right. Well, and for the typically at this
The
time, the
mom,
moms are
yeah,
staying at
yep,
home with the
yeah.
kids, right? With the young kids, so they're
Yeah.
hearing it too. So we decided we can't compete with their marketing budgets. Like this town
Gotcha.
has got way too many
Okay,
big
so
fish.
you weren't even there at that level of
No.
marketing budget.
We had no marketing,
Got it. Okay,
like nothing.
man.
And so we decided we'll do the opposite. We're gonna market towards the men.
Okay,
So we'll come up with a masculine
yeah,
brand,
super masculine.
and we will go like one of the things I do. Our major forms of marketing is ESPN Radio, who 90% of their listeners
Men,
are men 18 to 54,
Yeah.
like sports fans.
Of
Like
course.
that's that. So we just leaned into that and thought that might only be a very small percentage of people who need lawyers and who make the decisions. But even if that's
But you're gonna get it. Yeah,
well, we're gonna own that
that's
lane.
your niche. Yeah,
Yep, we're gonna get that little lane and we're gonna own it.
Own
and
it. And it paid
works.
off.
It works. Yeah.
Man, so did you find it that it paid off right away, or was it a little struggle? Like, who are these guys?
No, it was definitely some hustle. I think I'm gonna say probably 2 years before I really felt like we were a personal injury firm. Because remember, at this whole time, we're paying the bills by doing defense work,
This is
real
secondary.
estate work. That we're trying to build this and
Yeah.
make it self-sustaining,
Right.
so we can let all the other stuff go.
Gotcha.
We don't want to do this stuff, but we're doing it because it pays the bills, it keeps us open, right? It makes sure that everybody has a job.
And 2 years is a long time,
2 years is a long
right?
time,
I mean, you
but
can complete a budget.
yeah,
Really
so
quick.
we're hustling and working on this other stuff to pay for the marketing budget over here.
Right.
But it was so small of a marketing budget that it just takes time.
Compared to, I mean, you're literally the most competitive industry, personal injury lawyers.
Yep. In Las Vegas.
Every single billboard is personal injury.
Every TV commercial, everything out there.
Your peers, was it a thing internally in the attorney world as far as BattleBorn? Who are these guys? Yeah, or it doesn't work that way?
Yeah, I try not to put myself too much in the minds of other people because you tend to aggrandize yourself if
Okay.
you think that people
Like everybody knows.
Yeah,
I
you don't know us.
That's funny you say that. Yeah.
You know, like if I think that people thought about us, I'm probably thinking too much about it because I don't
It's
think
so
that
funny.
they did.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that anytime there's a new marketer a new marketing person in the personal injury world, it does get you some attention. Now, whether or not like the big players, like, oh, who are these
Yeah.
guys? Probably not.
Got you.
But like,
You'd be surprised, though, huh?
but like some like radio and TV and some medical professionals, they're like, ooh, who are
Yeah,
these
yeah,
guys?
yeah,
And they
yeah.
wanted to meet us. They wanted to get to know us.
Out
just
of curiosity alone,
Yeah, exactly.
Even us, we have a bunch of clients locally, but not a lot of these guys do billboards. You're one of the
Yeah.
few clients that do billboards. We have a few other ones in town, but even that hype to us is like, oh, did you guys do BattleBorn? Yeah.
Yeah.
So even for us, a little bit of a bragging right
Right.
situation. So
It's different today than it
Yeah.
was then. Now, like I think that we have
you
a
guys have
name
been doing it for so long.
that is a little bit known in the
Yeah.
industry.
Oh, yeah.
But certainly not at that time. If I told myself that we were known at that time, I'm probably lying to myself, you know?
No, for sure. I go to there's a few events that we do once in a while, and they always ask you like, who are your clients? Which is such a normal question, but to me
Yeah,
it's such
totally.
I find it to be odd. I'm like, you don't know any of my clients. It's usually my
Right.
mentality, you know.
Right?
We don't have clients that are in commercials, so we're a little more on the small business side. But it's always like, oh yeah, BattleBorn. Have you guys heard of BattleBorn? Oh yeah. So I always kind of lead on with that because that's it's a prominent name here in Vegas.
Yeah. So what do you think this is a question that people should be asking you, the first question, like as they
Well,
get to know what you guys do?
It's even if it's what industry or what type of clients,
Yeah.
but I always find that people ask a very direct, like, who are your clients, you know?
Right.
And then I'll be naming 5 clients that nobody knows about, you know?
Yeah.
We have a client that nobody knows about and spends $500,000 a month on Google, you know?
Mhm.
But these are the clients.
Yeah.
They literally have a $500,000 a month budget on ad spend, but nobody knows who they are, you know?
Right.
And I find that a lot of people that go kind of incognito like that are really successful. So
Sure.
it's only a few key clients that people could kind of name drop and people will recognize. Typically, they're just unknown and still killing it.
Right.
So as far as even talking about that, what made you guys work with Royal Ink? Yeah, that would be a question I'd like to ask you. Like, I don't even remember how we started working together.
I think if my memory serves me
remember?
correct,
No way.
yeah, I
What?
think I do. I think I yelped, and you guys,
Get
your
outta
office
here.
was real close to mine.
Okay,
and you
I didn't
had
know it
five
was you
star.
that researched it. I thought.
Oh yeah, no. All
No
the
way.
marketing stuff is like
What?
I usually
Super cool.
either I have
You
a
get
heavy
involved.
hand
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
marketing.
yeah.
Yeah. I'll just put it that way.
Okay, so what? Like, how does that even go about when you're like, man, Royal Ink? What are? Because I feel like we have a lot of clients, attorney clients, medical clients, literally in every field of medicine.
Yeah.
Heart surgeon, neurosurgeons, and they come here, and we have the skulls, we
Yeah.
have that vibe. We never changed it,
Yeah.
And I'm always on a t-shirt. I always joke around like I wear a button up if there's no meetings,
Yeah.
But they come in and they're suited up, and the
Yeah.
next time they come in, they're in shorts and a t-shirt, showing us our tattoos. So I find it that we're very edgy, but we kept true to who we are,
Yeah.
and clients really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's I don't know if we're not targeting certain clients that don't appreciate it, but the ones that we have, they love it. They love that we're not the suited up attorney that they're used to working with.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. And I think that fits well with what we do too. Like we obviously have some corporate aspects to what we do, but
Yeah.
I saw clients today like this. This is what up. This is my suit for the day.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen you suited up.
Yeah. So I mean, I have to when I go to court.
I see you on the Instagram.
Yeah, every once in a while I do, but I think especially in this town. I mean, it may be different feel like on the East Coast or something, or in maybe more developed cities. But this town, I was born and raised here, and this town is a relationship town, and it's not
100%.
about like. It's not about where your diploma's from.
Not at all.
And it's not about like who your dad is. I mean, maybe to some extent in that relationship, but I don't think me going into a potential client meeting in a suit versus how I'm dressed today
will kill
is going to make the impact that I think it will. I think if anything, it might even have a negative impact to some people.
Yeah.
My job with clients is to make them know that they're going to be taken care of.
Yeah.
Right.
As a family.
Like, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm here for you. Like I tell people all the time, you get to outsource your stress to me. You get to make sure that you don't even have to worry about whether or not everything's taken care of. If all the T's are crossed and I's are dotted, that's what we're here for.
They are.
So you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. You just got to get better.
Yeah.
That's it, right? And how can I sell that if I'm all cuff linked up and I'm in a suit? To me that doesn't that those are almost conflicting.
Just like my accountant.
Yeah.
With the Italian suit. Oh, yeah. Every time I see him. But and that's part of the reason why we have the bar. It's a mentality. I always tell people, like, man, I've been doing this Royal Ink for 12 years. And I want to, whatever bar that I walk into, I want to look at everybody in the eyes. And there should be one person that I don't want to see, I don't want to, I don't want to ruin any, there's nothing negative that can be said about me. There's nothing, no shadiness. Keep it straight, keep it real. It's a small town.
Yeah.
And you always run into people here, man. Always.
Well, and
I run into you multiple times.
Totally. And we're not perfect, right? Like I just gotta live up to my mistakes. Right. So that I can go go anywhere and I could be anywhere and I could be a free person, right? And not have to avoid
shake a hand,
avoid past clients or avoid vendors or because I screwed anybody over,
And for you guys, it's gotta be even different. You have clients. I mean, the number is so much bigger. Than an agency, a creative agency. You guys have clients all the time. So you run into people, hopefully you don't, but
yeah. Well, I mean, I think like in that context, the trick for what we do is as we're growing and we're in a period of like exponential growth right now, we're really growing, is to be able to maintain that personal relationship. Like for instance, it could be lost when you scale quickly.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Like I'm much more likely to remember the details of a client from 2012 than I am from 2022 because the volume just changed. It became so much more impactful. So how do we still deliver that sort of personal touch to each of those clients? Because there is as deserving of it as for. So now when I go out, I might have somebody say, I'm your client.
Yeah. You don't even know it.
Yeah. And I don't.
And to be honest, that's happened to me too. And it's so much different in the business setting when my clients are business owners.
Yeah.
They almost feel a little more disrespected, Like, where's Rafael? Like, where, how come he hasn't emailed? And you're so busy and there's so many variables to the business that I got to make it a point to always try to get back in the emails, get on a phone call, which I don't typically, I don't pick up the calls.
Yeah.
I used to pick up the calls. I used to be the graphic designer, CEO, janitor. I used to do it all. That's the game. And that's one of my big, not concerns, but one of the big things that I focus on 2022, 2023 is how to keep it small, you know, where we're small, but at the beginning it was just me, you know, so we're 10 people now, and that makes a big difference.
Yeah. Scaling is always that balancing of growth versus personal touch and customer service, right? And so what we've done,
slow it down. Yeah.
Well, what we've done is like I empower the other people in my office to develop those relationships, and I tell the person like Matt and I still do all the intakes, right? So a new client comes in, we still do it.
No
right?
way. Nice.
And so I have that personal touch up front, but I let them know right off the bat. Listen, here's the deal.
Take care.
We got different departments, and we have to have those different departments to make sure that I get you the best result possible. And deliver the best customer service I can, because I can't be on every call,
right?
And I can't be all knowledgeable on all cases at all times. But there is somebody at my office who will
all
be,
the time,
and they're going to introduce themselves to you in 24 hours, right? And they're going to be your best line of contact. And if something doesn't seem right about that, you have my cell phone. Like
they do.
I give you my number. But the reality is I'm doing things like this all the time.
And so you have to call yourself when somebody's not doing their job.
That's
anyways.
right.
Yeah,
that's right. Sure. So, I am here for you, but I am not your best resource, actually.
Right.
My best resource is somebody else.
Yeah. For sure. That I find that if I try to do it all, I miss half the things. I don't take proper notes, So I need help.
Yeah. If I'm going to try to be the head of every department, all that means is that the head of every department is mediocre at best.
Failing,
right?
Sure.
I need somebody who's in charge and has those tasks, and they are masters at it.
They're masters.
How
do you find, when it comes to the team, the employees, how do you find, I hate the word employees anyways, but for the sake of conversation, how do you find the morale? How do you deal with that? How do you empower people? To be honest, it's one of the most difficult things for Royal Inc. It's we're in a creative space. Creative people are a little different. They're a little more transient. They come, they go, they seek things that are a little different than I would think even somebody in the legal world, where it's a little more permanent.
Yeah.
So for me, a big deal is how to keep morale, how to make people feel like they belong here, like they're happy here, like we care about them as human beings. How to make sure that the morale is there even when I'm not involved physically,
Yeah.
How do you guys deal with that? Is that even a thing for you?
No, it's top of mind all the time, and I think we've had some real success at it. We have some people who have been with us all 13 years.
Wow.
We got some people, I think next in line is 12 years after that, and then 9 and 8 and 7.
You're already killing it.
Yeah. So we've been able to retain some people, and I think at least early on, the people who have been with us for the long haul, one of the things I told them is like, listen, I think you're exceptional at what you do, and I may not be able to compete with the market for what they're going to give to you.
Yeah.
But if you believe in what we're trying to build here, then I'm going to beat that market later. Like I will beat it because of what you're doing for me now.
Yeah. You're going to be indebted.
Yep. And I think we've delivered on that for those longstanding people. And then now as we grow, now we're at, I don't know, 25 people or something like that.
Nice.
You
two locations, right?
Well, technically 4 now.
Oh, wow.
So
I know you have 3. I think we were closing one.
No. We were going.
Okay.
Summerlin, Henderson, downtown, and then Reno.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, and maybe expanding into other states, but now as we grow, right, there's more corporate formalities.
Yeah.
There's the onboarding, people get into their position, they got to learn their teams, and there's org charts and all that stuff that did not exist before, right? Like the org chart was everybody did everything,
right? At what point did you see that? I feel like at 8, 10 employees, you already see that right away. Always, Lara's my wife, and she's HR.
Yeah.
I feel like you need HR.
Yeah.
For many little things. It's a thing.
Which because it's just a cost suck, right?
Yeah.
Because there's no HR doesn't produce any dollars.
Yeah.
Right?
It's just there for mediation purposes as well.
Yeah. For morale. You can help build morale through HR. And so one of the things I try to do is I can't deliver on those promises like I did to the early people on, because I have to hire people at market or above market today. I mean, so I don't. There's no indebtedness, right? Like I'm already paying them.
Well, now the game is different. Yeah,
yeah.
Sure.
But what I can do is I can trickle down, I can pass down the rewards I get from our growth. So like one of the things that I get from our growth is like I don't have to miss any of my kids' activities.
Yeah.
Like when the vacations come up, like when they are off for spring break, I take
You're
off
going.
and I go, right? So one of the things that we've incorporated, I think this is our third year, maybe it's our third year, is we do what's called a wellness week.
Okay.
And so those magical weeks, spring break, Memorial Day weekend, turn that into a week, 4th of July week,
holidays.
Labor Day week, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. Every employee can pick one of those weeks, and it doesn't count against their PTO, and they get it.
Yeah,
they get the whole week off.
Yeah.
And so that they can do family trips.
Yeah.
So they're not using their PTO only when their kid's sick.
Gotcha.
Right? They can actually like plan a vacation.
Everybody gets that once a year. They pick that holiday.
Yep.
They take it off.
Yeah.
Beautiful. How's that working out?
So far, so good. I mean, if I don't send out the list by like January 15th, people are like, "Hey, we doing well this week or what? Where's the list?" So I think it's good.
One of the things we started doing, I think 3-4 years ago, is we close for 2 weeks during Christmas. So we close literally for 2 weeks, and the studio closes. A lot of our clients are business owners on vacation, anyways. It's a little slower, so we did that.
Yeah.
And we just kind of stay home, enjoy it. We still work remotely, a few of us, mainly myself, but we get that perk, which is a big deal. Everybody else is working,
Yeah.
So we try to be a little bit ahead of the curve when it comes to that too.
We've considered that. It's weird in what we do because sometimes, depending on the year and how it's going, the insurance companies are at like on edge to try to get settled before the end of the year. So sometimes early December is always super busy.
It's gotta be
sometimes
crazy,
it trickles into the late December, but sometimes the last 2 weeks is like the phone doesn't ring, right? Like it's just So
that's what we had. Where it was just not ringing. It's holiday season, and they felt like we're just we're there kind of finishing the task. So one year we just said, "Hey, we're closing. We're staying home, guys. So enjoy it."
We might consider that.
Worked.
We've built out some things.
Way
now.
Different industry though,
Yeah, but we've built out some things that make that possible. Like we just now got on board a 24/7 answering service.
Got it. Wow.
So because for us,
so even that's a question that I wouldn't think that, or an answer that I would get from you, thinking that wouldn't there be physically somebody there answering the phone?
There is,
but now
from 8 to 5.
Yeah.
Now I've outsourced from 5. Yeah.
Got it.
So like, there's somebody there that I don't want to hire locally for somebody to sit on a desk.
You're waiting for a call
at night by themselves in an open office, right? So we outsource from 5 p.m. to 8 a.m.
Okay.
But when the call comes in, they'll call me. Like 2 a.m. They'll call me.
Do you guys get calls at night? Is that a thing? Yeah.
Yeah. So we actually had to change it a little bit because, funny enough, in this like remote world now, I think like a lot of insurance adjusters now work remotely.
Okay.
And they gotta get a certain number of calls.
They gotta get the calls in.
So they do it like 10 at night. Like, wait a minute.
They're like, I was working.
Yeah, I know. No 24/7 on the phone number we give to insurance companies. Only for
emergencies only.
No, for like our clients.
Exactly. Yeah. But
they have it, but not insurance companies, not doctors. Everybody else, just for clients. So we had to change it up.
Clocking in right there.
Yeah. So it happens, but that having that to fall back on may give us more flexibility towards those other kinds of things where the whole office is closed. Because from my perspective, that's freak out mode.
Yeah.
Like people need to answer the phone because when somebody needs a personal injury attorney, they just got rear-ended by a semi.
Yeah.
If they don't get somebody don't pick up that phone, you're done.
You're done
on the next one, right?
Of course.
And that could be significant.
And that's literally 24 hours.
24 hours.
Yeah.
Right.
So somebody's on it, like what do you call it? The external one, but they call somebody at the office and somebody's always on standby.
Yep, that's right.
Beautiful. Man, how does that work? Does somebody have to take the phone once a week or
No. So it's got a call list. So
got it.
If you fire your way down the priority list. So like if I don't answer, then it goes to Matt. Matt doesn't answer, goes to Crystal. If Crystal doesn't answer, goes to Cynthia. Like it works its way down the list. And if nobody answers, then we don't deserve that case.
Yeah,
like,
you lost it. You should have lost it.
And somebody might call back. We might be able to call them back within 20 or 30 minutes. But the idea is one of those 4 has got to be able to answer.
It's got to be, unless everybody's on vacation.
No, they answer on vacation. Matt.
Well,
Matt did a conversation on Hawaii, right? Yeah. No, you answer the call. You answer questions.
That's one of the things that I laugh about. Somebody asked me the other day, like, "Are you always on? Are you always on?" I'm like, "Yeah." It's another business owner, and he's like, "Does it ever stop?"
Yeah.
I'm like, not unless you want to be out of business.
Yeah.
You got to be on all the time. Even if I'm doing something fun, I'm always, I enjoy time with my family, but the thought is always there, how to be better, how to progress, how to succeed. It doesn't go away, at least for me.
Yeah. No, it's funny you say that. Like, I have a buddy of mine who loves to tease me. He's like, man, you're retired. You don't work, because he sees me on vacations. And I'm like, dude, I work 24 hours
all
a
the
day.
time.
It's always, right? And I mean it when I say that. And thank God I love what I do. I don't even think I finished that story, but I started the story by saying I hated being a lawyer. Like, I love what I do now. Yeah. I love what I do. It is so ingrained with what my day is about that, like, I don't see it as like I'm working when a call comes in at 8 p.m. and I answer it and it's a new client and I handle it right there in front of my kids.
Man,
they're doing homework. I handle it.
To me is crazy. The fact that you're picking up the phone from the house. I love it.
Yeah. Well, hey,
you
it's a hustle, right? That's what it is.
Yeah.
So,
and that's the thing. We enjoy vacations. I have 3 kids.
Yep.
So we enjoy it. We earned it.
Yeah.
I missed many vacations at the beginning of when I started the business. So we take it, but I'm always on. I'm always on with the team. I'm always on. If somebody calls me, if one of our clients calls me, I pick up the phone. I enjoy it, actually. If I'm not picking up the phone or if I don't get any phone calls or emails, I get nervous,
Yeah.
I'm like, I want that moment. I want that momentum when I'm on vacation and I'm on the phone. I'll be right there, honey, I like that. I enjoy it.
Yeah, it's funny you talk about the gym. Like, there was a time period where Metro stopped responding to accidents.
Okay.
And so if there was not an injury, they would not respond.
Yeah.
So people started freaking out. And we thought to ourselves, there's some clients that we know that are, 60, 70, 80-year-old, ladies, and they would be scared if they were in an accident about getting the information, who they call, because the police aren't coming. So we offered to do it for free, 24/7. And that one, this made me think, this is 2015, 2016. And we did have what was called the bat phone. And you had it one day a week. Was your day, and you had to answer at 3 a.m. You're off to an accident scene. We would go to the accident scene and exchange the information with them. And that was that's where we first experienced exponential growth.
And that's the thing, is the most genuine thing that becomes the most genius thing.
Yeah.
Like, you're doing it because you really, we want to do it for our clients.
Yeah.
It pays off, but it comes from a good place too,
Right. And like having that hustle. And so, I remember one specific time I had my kids and my wife in the car. We're coming back from the gym that I see all the time. I was driving home and I got one of those calls and it's like, hey, I'm on Russell 215. I'm like, I will be there in 30 seconds, dude. I was like already on the way home. So I had my kids
with the family, right?
It's in the car. Like, I gotta do some stuff, signed up a client right there. So there is, now today, do I do those kinds of things? No, number one, because Metro does respond to all accident scenes, so we don't have to do that anymore.
You have the team, the perfect team.
And now we have a team, and now we've grown, and I've earned some of those, vacations and those things. But we still have a ton of hustle. Like I said, Matt was in Hawaii last week, and he was on the phone doing a consult because a prior client had referred and said, "Speak to Matt." And the lady was like, I'm supposed to speak to Matt. And I'm like, okay, we'll get him for you.
Love it, man. From Hawaii.
That's right.
So even talking about the gym, right? So how do you, like, to me, one of the things of a successful business owner is even taking care of yourself physically.
Yeah.
Have you always been, a fitness guy? I see you there all the time. I see you working out.
Yeah.
I see you healthy.
Yeah. Well, I got some nagging injuries. So, sports and fitness has always been like a big part of my life. I grew up as a wrestler. Started wrestling when I was 4 and stopped in college. I went to college at Oregon State. Once I switched my major to becoming an engineer, then I couldn't do both. It was too much, And then after I got done with being my wrestling career, so like 19, I had only competed for as long as I knew. I did multiple sports. I did judo, I wrestled, I played baseball, all that stuff. But and ran cross country. But wrestling was my constant, always round year from 4 until I was 19.
That's core, man.
So I needed something to fill that, right? So I got into lifting. I got into and I did. Bulk was something I wanted for a while. Now,
as you say, that we got to both kind of sit straight.
Yeah, I got some injury. I got some nagging injuries from those days. So now I'm all about functional fitness.
Yeah,
and for
mobility.
Yes, for that, I want to be able to stand up straight for as long as I can.
Yeah.
I want to be able to, when I have grandkids and they say, hey, you want to go snowboarding? I'm like, I can still snowboard, or I can still ski. I can still do those things, but I have to be able to take care of myself. And that it's about functional fitness for me rather than appearances.
Yeah.
And a major component of it.
As long as it's mental, even.
Yes,
You know?
that's what I'm saying. It is I'm not my best version of myself upstairs unless I'm taking care of my body.
I just see some people, some business owners that are not taking care of themselves, and I find that a little odd.
Oh, I think it's more common.
It is
that happens than not, right? They lose.
But I don't get it.
They lose their physical fitness in the hustle. They're hustling.
Yeah.
Right. But I actually found that, like, when I work out, as I stopped drinking, as I really focused on some mental well-being parts of my life, that my hustle was so much more effective.
Yeah.
I was just such a better business owner and a better dad and a better husband and all these things that I like to do. Yeah. I was better at all of those.
Oh yeah. You got to be a beast in every angle, to me.
Yep.
To just walk in a room and own it, to your team, to your clients.
Behind the mic.
Yeah.
Right?
They got to see you. They got to be like, man, these guys on it.
Yeah.
In every aspect, family, fitness, health, wealth, the full work. So I'm a fan of, I see a lot of clients at the gym.
Yeah.
We go to a gym where I see a lot of clients there, man.
That's great.
It's crazy. So, man, I want to ask you one more question that I mentioned to you the last time you were here.
Yeah.
So, okay, you've been doing this for, at this point, what, 13 years? Mm-hmm. So is there how do you treat yourself? A lot of our clients are business owners. They've been hustling for years. They strive for success. And are there any toys you have or anything that any hobby, passion of yours that you get to splurge on because of the fact that you work so hard for many years?
I'm sure, like, if you were to ask anybody, Crystal's sitting over there and she's laughing, I'm sure she could name off a whole bunch of things.
Okay.
But from my perspective, it's not why I do it.
Okay.
Like, I'm not a material guy. I do have material things for sure. I do, but like I told my wife a long time ago that my income level had passed the point, this is years ago, where I had all I needed.
You already had it,
I just, I got my wife, I got my kids, I got a place for them to stay, and they can go to school where they want to go to school. We're in public school, but I mean, I'm talking about college. I can plan for them to go where they want to go. Like, I don't really need anything else. I do.
Man, that's crazy.
The reason I do all this today,
you're just passionate about it.
Well, you know what? That's not really the whole truth of it. Like, the best part of what I do every day is watching as either clients, but more often staff. Yeah. I get to watch them grow beyond what their thought their own potential was. Yeah. Like, when I can believe in somebody more than they believe in themselves and show them that these things are possible just by trying. Yep. And they do it and they jump in. That's the best. That's the best. It's my favorite part of owning a business, and it's why I want to, I'll never give it up. Yeah.
I had a moment during COVID where we laid off a few people, and we got a little smaller. Yeah. And I had a moment where it could have just been that, we were doing really well. We had a set number of marketing clientele. But man, my thing is just seeing people succeed, internally at the studio. Mm-hmm. Just hiring people, motivating people. I'm a very motivational person. I got to get better behind the camera, but that's how I live, Yeah. So doing that with no people just wasn't the same. Like, right. I like seeing internal growth for myself, but also my team members, man. It's
I think that's right. I didn't think about it in those terms, but if it was just me and Matt and a phone and we just handled the case.
Yeah, same amount of income, but it's just not the same,
Right. And that's how it all started, right? It was me and Troy we literally shared a desk together, and when one of us had a consultation, the other one would get up and go do a lap at executive suites. So that's how it started.
At an executive suite.
But the whole idea was we were going to grow this thing, right? Like, so that if that's all it ever was going to be, I don't think I would miss so much of what the joy is in owning your own business if it didn't grow and have staff and people, give those people an opportunity that, like, when we do things like Wellness Week, when we overpay for our health insurance to ensure that they have the best health insurance available, that they can select and pick what fits for them. We give them a menu of benefits.
Man, we've always had health insurance for people. Yeah. It's so crazy. Even when we were 3 people. Yes. I'm very passionate on the fact that people got to live well, man. We do the time off, we have health insurance, benefits. I mean, anything we could do, we do it, Yep. I don't want people to leave.
And it's not just about the paycheck, right? Like, I mean, we do get raises, and we try to stay competitive on the market and stay in the top 25% of where we think the market is. We do all those things, but I think, like, allowing people to know that they are respected in what they do,
Yep.
and that they're valued, and that when they come with ideas that they're heard, or when they have family emergencies, we're there for them. We don't
No
put
issues,
them on their head, right?
Yeah.
Like all of those things, and creating that work environment family is just, I think that that's just the best part of it all.
Yeah.
You know, yes, being a personal injury attorney is cool. Not billing hours is cool. Making the money is cool. You know, like our little niche and what we do here is all cool. And I'm not trying to say that it's not, but that's the best.
But that's the best, man. One last story before we wrap it up is the reason why I'm so passionate about employees too is my wife went to the hospital to give birth. You know,
Mhm.
I was 20 years old, and she calls me. She's like, "I'm on the way to the hospital," and I'm like, "Okay, when I get out at 2:00. I'll be there." You know, so I finish my shift, then I go to the hospital. I was 20. She was 19. And I get there. My son was born the next day at 6 a.m. I go to work and I get laid off. The same day, the next day, my son was born. You know.
Yeah.
So because of that factor, man, I've always been entrepreneurial even before that. But now that it's in a successful company, I enjoy taking care of people, man,
Mhm.
so that people don't feel that or don't have that happen to them.
Yep.
So team members, the well-being of everybody here at Royal Inc. is a big priority for me.
You know, I will add one more thing onto this just because I think it's apropos for like what's going on in the world today. So I think I agree with you 100%, but I think a lot of people can conflate like taking care of people with allowing everybody to kind of take advantage of the situation.
Which happened the last 2 years.
It happened.
Crazy.
Yes. So from my perspective, like we do have turnover. I'm not trying to say we don't.
Yeah.
Like we know pretty early on if somebody's not a good fit for BattleBorn, and we don't hold on to people who are not a good fit. Like we let them know right away, like, hey, this isn't a good fit. You need to go find somewhere else.
Yeah.
And
it's a thin line, man.
I've always justified it as this. If I let somebody stay on who's not doing their job, I'm disrespecting everybody who is. Right? And those are the people I need to take care of. The people who are doing and buying into exactly what our vision is here, I owe them the respect of getting rid of the people who don't do those jobs.
And that one person that remains will bring everybody down to that level anyways.
That's right.
Just psychologically, you know?
Yep.
So it's crazy that you say that's a whole nother topic, man.
Yeah, for sure.
The last 2 years, something happened. And recently it just became where now we're a little more self-aware of, hey, you know what? You have to earn to be here.
Yes.
Before it was, hey, we're trying to keep people. Now it's like, hey, you know what? We built it.
Yeah.
You have to want to be here, and we have to want you here. So I think things changed in the last six months to a year.
Yeah, I feel that a little bit. There's a little overcorrection, and we're swinging back the other way. But I still think there's some balance to be had. Still
Very
conversation.
Yeah. I love it, man. Well, thanks for coming, man. It's a big deal, man.
All right, thanks for having me.
I'm excited. It's the first one, man. So I was a little nervous, but we did.
You did good.
Hell yeah, man. We killed it.